All right, here we go. This is just happening right now. I was about to pack up my gear. So if my audio is not great right now, I apologize. I'm using the microphone on my camera because this is so happening like right now, confirmed. So if you're just joining, please bear with me. Let me know if everything's okay. And if you're joining the posted video, we have the retaliation that everyone's been waiting for. It looks like the United States waited for the stock market to close so that the entire economy didn't crash around the world. And what's up, everybody? Make sure you're please tapping notifications, like, comment. I really appreciate all you guys. I don't go live too much because I have a son now. But let's go ahead and get through this. Everybody turn on those notifications. It helps out a ton. All right, so as you can see, the U.S. starts retaliatory strikes in Iraq and Syria. As predicted, I said in all of my videos that these attacks were probably going to take place within Iraq. Mainly because it's about damn time something happens. I am not somebody who's a warmonger. I am not somebody who's like, we need war. But when it comes to Iraq, the United States has been getting uppercuts, has been getting jabbed, has been getting strike after strike, and now we have the worst case scenario that happens in Jordan. But again, right now, as of now, this is Iraq and Syria, so let's go ahead and see what is happening. Again, this is from Reuters. The United States carried out retaliatory strikes on Friday in Iraq and Syria against facilities linked in Iran's Revolutionary Guards and militias they backed. Okay? 4 U.S. officials said after a deadly attack in Jordan that took out 3 troops and some 40 others. The strikes are believed to be just the first in a multi-tiered response by President Joe Biden. So if you guys are unaware, Joe Biden, White House, everyone is saying this is going to be multi-tiered, which means we're going to see a lot. This is like what we consider shock and awe in the military world, U.S. military world. This part right here is what everyone's waiting for. Someone asked, are we going to do a ground war? Absolutely not at this time, okay? And again, if you're just joining, please turn on the notifications. YouTube is so weird to this channel that it wants you to turn on notifications, so it helps out a ton. This is the moment that I think will defy, like, Joe Biden's presidency, and this is what everyone is waiting for, and this is the only way the United States would ever get sucked into a ground war. Right here. While the U.S. strikes did not target any locations inside of Iran, they are likely to increase concern about tensions in the Middle East. Okay, so again, everyone is waiting to see whether or not the United States is actually going to strike the country of Iran. Me personally, I don't think that's going to happen because that would absolutely cause a ground war like Kevin is saying over here. And again, thank you for tapping in. I'll try reading in your comments. And we're going to go actually look at the live feed. Again, this is like so last second. I don't even think I have that much battery on this camera. So if all of a sudden I disappear, the battery ran out. But again, I'm very dedicated to try getting you. This is like legit breaking news. And this is the first time as an American where, you know, tensions are actually a little high. We've managed to lay extremely low in the Middle East, but I think that's it. Like, we are here. We are here to stay. Iran, this is meant for you. Syrian state media said on Friday that an American aggression on sites in Syria, desert areas, and the Syrian and Iraqi border resulted in a number of casualties and injuries. So again, a lot of reports. And what you need to understand, if you look at all of the strikes that the United States has been doing over Yemen, you need to look at the verbiage that's being used or the actual strikes. The U.S. has not been going after actual personnel. They've been going after the rail systems, equipment, radars, things like this. And I see we got about 150 people in here. Make sure you at least like the stream. And I'm going to try to get you as much accurate information time now because we live in an era where we can get this info. So please like the stream. Helps me out a ton. And when I post this video, people can actually see the news. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to go to some open source and then from there try to decipher what exactly is going on. I mean, like, you always get some home videos, but again, you have to be very careful when verifying all this. Apparently, this is a U.S. fighter aircraft seen in the skies of western Iraq. I can play that for you, but it's going to be very generic. Again, all of this is happening right now. And what's interesting on Twitter, you have IRGC trending and Syria trending. And here we go. This is what we've been waiting for, people, from Central Command. If you are just tuning in, Central Command, this is who's in charge of this. So here we go, straight from the source, straight from the United States. If you are tuning in, like this and pay attention. At 4 p.m. Eastern Time, February 2nd, U.S. Central Command forces conducted airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the Quds Force, and affiliated militia groups. And we'll talk about them in a second, who the Quds forces are, because they're a very, very dark entity of Iran, and they've managed to create a very interesting force that they try to equate to the U.S. Special Forces. But we'll talk to that in a second. U.S. military forces struck more than 85 targets. That's a lot. Logistically speaking, that is a lot. With numerous aircraft to include long-range bombers flown from the United States. So these guys flew all the way from the U.S., all the way to the Middle East with one mission in mind. And that's insane. Again, it goes to show you the capability of the United States is still there. We live in a day and age where we see like these TikTokers dancing, and we're like, the U.S. military is done for. This right here goes to show the U.S. military is still #1 in the rankings for do not mess with U.S. soldiers. We came from the U.S. and we showed up on the same day we took off. The facilities that were struck included command and control, operation centers, intelligence centers, rockets and missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicle storages and logistics, ammunition supply chain facilities of militia groups and their IRGC sponsored, who facilitated the attacks against U.S. coalition forces. Again, the reason why this is a different pattern of attack, and one thing I really want to touch on real quick, it's interesting how the United States knew where all these people were, but nothing was done about it. Again, this is either a very timid administration or a very patient administration. I'll let you guys decide. Somebody asked, so is the U.S. at war? I wouldn't say we're at war, but I would say that this is a massive retaliation to strike back 85 targets, and we're only on day 1, and it goes to show when you look at the time frame at 4 p.m., this is a very deliberate time frame to wait for the stock markets to close down. It goes to show how much mission planning goes into everything, because if the U.S. would have attacked when the stock market only had like 30 minutes left in the stock market, they would have crashed everything. Everything would have gone red. It would have created a global disaster. So look into that if you're kind of like an economics nerd like me, to see where the stock market will land. And again, if you're just tuning in, if my camera shuts off, I might run out of battery because I just started the stream when I was about to pack up. So again, this is a different string of attacks here. They did go after centers, they went after storage, they went after munition supply chains, but they also went after people. Now, we have to wait for what the after action review is going to be. If unfortunately civilians were harmed, this could be twisted into like, whoa, the U.S. is starting a war in the Middle East. So pay attention to that. As someone said, I wish everyone would calm down in 2024. Yes, and of course the markets do reopen on Monday. Somebody said, why did you choose the Army as opposed to the Marines? You can go back and check my shorts, but right now I really want to focus on this. So what I want to talk about here are, if you guys are unaware of the Quds Force, or the Quds Force, these are the equivalent of special forces for Iran who work in a clandestine manner. These guys technically don't exist, they do exist, but they do it the same thing the U.S. Special Forces do. They train these militia groups that you always see in the media, and these are the guys who are behind the clandestine strikes on U.S. military members, whether in Iraq, whether in Syria. So that is why this specific target is rather big, because when you go after the Quds Force, you go after some of the most elite fighters for Iran. So that's a big deal. And of course, going after Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, this is sort of a direct threat and warning straight to Iran that we do have the capability to go after you, but we are choosing not to go after your country. As I was analyzing this story before we even got to this point, the United States and Biden said, we're not going to go after Iran, and Iran doesn't want to go to war with us, so we're not going after them. And look, the United States has actually been rather accurate and pretty truthful with their reporting on what exactly they're going to do in the Middle East. So again, this is straight from U.S. Central Command, so straight from the people who conducted the attack. So whatever we're seeing right here, everything else most likely is going to be speculation. And I see I got 231 people in here. Please, at the very least, it's totally free. Make sure you like this stream. It helps out a ton, and it helps you guys all out to see more videos so I can keep helping you guys with the news and the reports. Yeah, exactly. Like the stream. Let me try to answer some of your questions real quick. Somebody said, just join what's going on. Massive retaliation strikes between Iraq and Syria. Oh, I do want to talk about this narrative. What's rather interesting in the country of Iraq, there was a report that Iranian-backed militias within the country of Iraq were all told to stand down. But it doesn't look like the United States took this in any way, shape, or form. Apparently, these militia groups were told to stop to make sure that the Iraqi government doesn't get pissed off at Iran for stirring the pot in Iraq. But now this is all going to change, considering the country of Iraq has become a playground for warfare between Iran and the United States, almost creating like a vacuum of like its own Middle Eastern Vietnam. Let me check my battery real quick on this camera. All right, I'm at 15%, so we're going to keep going. Again, I just started this. This is how fresh this is. Thank you. I appreciate all you guys for the good news. No, it does not mean we are at war with the Middle East, and you have to be very careful with the headlines "we are at war." Theoretically and legally speaking, the only way for the United States to be at war is if the government signs off on this. Now, understand, Joe Biden has the right as a president. I cannot remember the clause. If somebody can name drop it real quick. He has the right to initiate military action, whether in the defense or direct action and retaliation through the United States military. But if this continues after 60 to 90 days, then government intervention comes in and you are at war. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens on the federal government level. Again, I want to make clear we are not at war. The only time we would be at war is if the government signs off on it. But I will say this, the tensions are up. Like, that's it. The United States, once you do this, the ball is now back in Iran's court. Iran, we're going to see what exactly is going to happen because we're only on the first day, people, which is why you do have to like this stream and turn on the notifications because this is going to happen again probably tomorrow, or who knows, maybe as soon as I press the refresh button, we'll get another string of attacks. But again, the United States has been very vague and clear. They will be doing this, guys. They said they were going to do it. Thank you guys for everything. What about the previous Middle East conflicts? Those seem to have been longer. This has absolutely nothing to do with the Middle East conflicts at all. Now, what is a narrative, if you are interested, is that the United States is being threatened to get kicked out of the country of Iraq. This might be where the initiation happens, where we get kicked out. So we'll see what happens. The unfortunate part for the United States is that there are over 40 individual militant groups in the country of Iraq who are backed by Iran. The reason why this is problematic for the United States, we only have a garrison of 2,500 soldiers. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. In case some sort of other retaliation happens where ground forces try to attack U.S. military members in Iraq, due to the cause and effect of this retaliation, we're going to have another war in Iraq, but we are not at that point, so please don't freak out. We have Taylor Swift. That's the real unfortunate. W's in the chat for Taylor and the Swifties. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys for saying you trust me, and I love all you guys for that. And yeah, Noah said, knock, knock, the U.S. is back. I will say this definitely shows that the U.S. is back in a way that's like they are ranked #1 for a reason. So I don't want to keep speculating or waste your time. Again, we got the direct news straight from the source. Always go to Central Command if you can't find any accurate news source. Like if you don't want to go to Fox or CNN, doesn't matter. Go to Central Command. This is the report. This is what happened. So again, if you guys could comment, like, whatever, interact with the video. I'm going to post this so other people can get this news. You'll help everybody out a lot as well. So this is currently what's happening, but I promise you we will probably be doing this live stream again very soon, okay? Because it's going to happen again. These 85 attacks are not done, people. Expect more attacks over in Yemen especially. But look, these guys eventually are going to come out of the hiding. The entire United States military is in the Middle East right now, watching the Middle East. So we'll see what happens. I'll catch all you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned something. And please don't freak out. We are not at that point in time yet where we're in an all-out war. Right now, the momentum is in the U.S.'s favor. So we'll see what happens. Again, interact with this video to help out your fellow YouTube people. And thank you guys for everything. I love all of you. We'll see you guys later. Thank you.